Today, we are joined by Erik Hammond, who joins us on the third Tuesday of every month to talk about marketing because he is a digital marketing expert. But being a digital marketing expert, he also has a background in real estate. So welcome, Erik, and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. So today we're talking about something that I don't think we've ever talked about with you before. It's something completely new. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, all that stuff that we usually talk about. We're actually talking about LinkedIn and creating evergreen content for LinkedIn. And like I said, this is something even brand new to me, so I'm ready to learn about it.
Yeah, LinkedIn's been around forever, but I'm always trying to find something that's not about Facebook because you guys are like, we got to diversify and talk about other things. So this is a left field one, but we'll see how it works.
Yeah. So just to start out, for the people who don't know, what is evergreen content?
Good question. So evergreen content, think about a tree, right? Evergreen trees are around, they're green all year long, they keep their leaves. The ones that lose their leaves, I can't remember what they're called, but they're not irrelevant. So what happens is that people write content that's relevant to the moment in the day and the minute that you're in, right? It's the market updates, it's how's the weather, things like that. Evergreen is something that's relevant 5-10 years from now. And that's what we're gonna help you guys uncover is what do I talk about that's gonna exist today and in 10 years from now? Because that's the content that takes less energy to write and it's gonna help you in the long term.
Yeah, definitely. So how do LinkedIn and evergreen content go together?
So I'll ask you this question. When you think about LinkedIn, what do you think about, Tori? Like, what would be the purpose of going to LinkedIn?
I think about jobs. That's the first thing that comes to my mind is jobs and networking yourself and your business.
Yeah. Most people go there for a new job. They're like, I've take this job and shove it right. I'm out of here. Got to do something else. And they're going to go there. They're going to post a resume. They're going to update their work experience. They're probably going to try to connect with people. So it's a little bit social because you're looking for friends maybe in other places that you've worked. Most people have like 400 to 500 connections on there. But that's mostly what it's been focused for, is helping me kind of get up the ladder, if I will. But what's changed over the last couple of years is LinkedIn's now becoming a content platform. And so unlike Facebook, where you have these little posts that might be 100 or 200 words, LinkedIn is a great place now where you can kind of document and share more stuff. So we're talking like 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 word blogs. So it's kind of like the digital version of a magazine or a book that's going to be more long-term content. So again, it's not the place that you're going to say, hey guys, the market's incredible, there's this house for sale. That's not what LinkedIn's about. It's going to be more long-term stuff that's going to be around for a few years. So we'll get into what to talk about here in a second. But that's kind of how LinkedIn is available nowadays. It's a place where people are coming to digest and read and learn.
It kind of sounds like Twitter a little bit. Twitter is like my news, but LinkedIn sounds more of like the professional side.
Yeah, and Twitter's like, look, I just got to find out what happened today, right? Like what went down today. and LinkedIn's kind of the more, let me just kind of educate myself and see what's going on in the world too.
Got it. So for those people who are probably lost right now, they're like, okay, so what do you talk about when you're creating evergreen content for LinkedIn?
Yeah, or even how do I create evergreen content that has anything to do with real estate? Because real estate is such a progressive thing. It's moving all the time. Things are selling, things are buying, the market's going up and down, interest rates are changing. Nothing stays the same in real estate. So what do you talk about? You talk about the things that are going to stay specific. So for example, the schools, we were just talking about this. School districts are a huge reason why people buy homes. We actually just bought a house a couple months ago, and we were trying to stay in this one school district, and we were just on the edge of it, and my daughter was able to stay in the school that she's in. And now this school has moved everything, and now we're in a different school boundary. So everything was disrupted by this one move. But people are so passionate about the schools that they're in and where they are and how the schools all work together and the education they have. And anyway, long story. But schools are important. So if you can talk about the schools and what's going on in that school and why those schools are incredible, maybe even interviewing the teachers. I actually just talked to an agent the other day that used to be a principal at a school. And so she's got that great connection with the teaching community, and now she sells homes. So like the teachers are her bread and butter and who she wants to work with. So I'm like, let's go interview all the teachers, talk about what the kids are learning this year. They have this new program called the STEM program, which talks about science and technology and all these kind of things. So there's so much that you can talk about with schools. That you could probably create a whole year of content just talking about schools. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. When you come to other things, right, like communities, each community offers something different. HOAs have different amenities that they have. Some have parks, some have pools, some have RV parking. what if you took your whole area and everything that you worked in, and let's say chunk it out into HOA communities, and you talked about each one. You talked about the floor plans that were available, what the builders offered, what the HOA is doing, what are some of the improvements that are coming up over the next couple of years. These are long-term things that are going to be around forever and available. So think about your community and kind of some of the staples that you could discuss. That's how the evergreen content side of it fits in.
So if someone was moving from, let's say, a different state, moved from, as I know, California to Tennessee, the weather is so different here. Would the weather be something that you might want to talk about too?
You could, if it's relatable enough. Obviously, you're not going to say it's 70 today, right? But you might talk about weather patterns and, do I need a heated driveway to melt the snow? Or, how do I prepare for the rain in the spring? And do I need to have drains in my house? And more planning kind of stuff like that. And just things to be aware of if you're coming to a new state. Yeah,
that's what I would think of. Yeah. Just the way that you were talking about it, I was like, I wish I knew more about the weather. Like this morning I walked outside and there was ice on my car. Me being from San Diego, California, I don't have an ice scraper.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Just little things like that.
Yeah. So it's weather, it's the community stuff that you're going to deal with. Even think about like your clients, right? There's buyers, there's sellers. Like those are the two ones. What if you created a really good piece for first-time home buyers? And it's going to be relevant, right? Maybe it only applies to those people while they're buying their house right now, but in 5 years from now, it's still going to apply to them. So what's the loan process like? What's the house process like? Searching for homes, what are the 5 things that I need to think about when buying my first house? All that kind of stuff. Same with the selling side. What are the things that I need to do to prepare my house for sale? These things don't change, but they're still relevant content. So you can include words, you can include pictures, you can include video, all that kind of stuff makes it relevant and important and consumable by the client.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of staying away from the specifics, like the specifics would be numbers and talking all that, and that's always changing. You're more focusing on the greater aspect of these.
Yeah. Or even if you get into like selling a house, saying, most people want new clean carpet when they get into a property, saying a specific color isn't going to help you, but just saying that people need new carpet when you sell your house, that might be good.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Now, what happens if you're not a good writer? You have all these ideas, but you don't know how to put it down.
Yeah, I'm not a good writer. I'll tell you that. I'm a terrible writer. I was actually just watching a video about how to be a better writer before this, which is kind of funny. That's okay. What I would get at is that there's a world of great writers out there on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. There's tons of VA type platforms where you can go hire a blogger or somebody who can communicate. So for me, I'm kind of fumbling over some words this morning, but I'm better at talking than I am trying to get my thoughts down on paper. So I'll usually go create a video, and then I'll have one of our writers actually transcribe it and put it into a blog format. So if you just speak to your camera, tell them kind of the message that you're trying to relay, then they can transpose that into something that's more of a written word and say, I'm trying to tell this type of a story. I need it to be, 500 to 700 words. You can give them all that. Most bloggers in that forum will charge anywhere from like 2 to 5 cents per word. So if you're writing, a 1,000-word story, it might, cost you a couple $100 at the most. But again, if it's evergreen, it's going to last you for a couple of years. It might be worth it. So just kind of plan accordingly. But yeah, there's a lot of good options out there for that.
I've also found that even if you just write something down and you just have a second person read it. So if I wrote something right now and I said, hey, Eric, read this, tell me what you think. You're going to find things that probably I wrote that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a professional writer, you're going to see these things that I may have made a mistake on or something. So even just having a friend read over your content is also a good thing if you don't want to pay money, but paying the money and having that great content is probably going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, just having someone proofread it can be a huge help. Yep.
Yeah, just moving things around, changing words. You might know better words than I do.
Yeah, there's another good program too, which you got to pay for, unfortunately, but it's called Grammarly, and I'm sure everyone's seen an ad for them. But it's one of those where you can, shorten your sentences if you get too wordy. You can come up with better grammar, check your spelling, all that kind of stuff too. So that's a great program as well.
Yeah, definitely. So should agents be creating a CTA? And I actually asked you before what that was, but it's the call to action. So they should be creating call to actions in these posts that they're writing.
So we talk about this quite a bit around here too. If everyone's read any of Gary Vaynerchuk's books, he talks about bringing value before you ask for the sell, right? So he calls it jab, 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 right hook, meaning that I'm going to give you value probably 3 or 4 times before I ever ask you for the sale. I'm not going to demand that you work with me, but I'm going to ask. So in these longer format, blogs, you can bring so much value. Here's all the information I know about the schools. Here's everything I know about the floor plans in this house. Here's all the hot restaurants that are available. And then the ask at the end would be, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling a house? So always having some type of a follow-up is important, but I don't think it always needs to bring right back to your real estate business. So obviously asking, who do you know that's thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate would be good. Or even, hey, if you're interested in a list of all the open houses coming up in the market this weekend, I would love to send you that list and keep you on a reoccurring list that way. So it's, again, something that's going to bring them value, not you. But yeah, you definitely need to have a call to action. It just needs to be well formatted into what it is that you're presenting. So if you're talking about the schools, for example, maybe you say, for a list of every home available in this school district, give me your email, I'll put you on the list if you're a buyer, that kind of value. So it relates to the message that you're talking about.
I think almost anything in real estate should have some sort of call to action, right? Because that's just what we're trying to do in real estate, is get these buyers, get these sellers. So something should have some sort of call to action.
Yeah. I think most people, though, go straight in for the, hey, let me come over and tell you how I'm going to sell your house. And it's just too bold. You have to kind of warm them up and introduce yourself a little bit more, especially when you're online and you've never met that person before. So go straight into bringing them something. And the call to action needs to be, give me your email and I'll give you this, rather than, hey, I'm coming over tonight and we're going to talk about this.
Yeah. And we did talk about writing. Now, when it comes to this creating evergreen content on LinkedIn or anything, however you want to talk about this question, should it be more focused on video or written content?
That's a good question too. Most people have thought about LinkedIn being just a written content, and there are plenty of places like this. I mean, you can take this strategy on LinkedIn and really take it anywhere you want. But the beauty of what LinkedIn's done is they're trying to keep up with everybody else, because they knowing that Facebook's going video, Instagram's huge in video, obviously YouTube is all video, Twitter's got video, everyone's got video. Last year, I think it was March of last year, actually LinkedIn incorporated their own version of video. So if you're better on video and you just are that shiny person in front of the camera and you're great at it, lights, camera, you get the green screen out, whatever, make video. And if that's your form, great. And like I said before, if you are comfortable on video, you can go anywhere from there, because you can take the audio out and make a podcast. You can take the audio out and give it to your writer to make a blog. I would always try to improve your video skills no matter what you're doing. But either of them work. I think video is probably going to win hands down. But if writing's all you've got and you're like, I can't do the video, it'll work as well. It's just not quite as effective.
And I know we say this a lot, especially with talking to you, because this is all marketing and social media. If you're not comfortable in front of video, you just got to do it a few times. You'll get comfortable. There's so many people, I know we teach classes on making video, and there's so many people who are just not comfortable talking and being on camera. And I can speak from experience. I was not comfortable the very first time I did a broadcast. Let's delete that off the internet, because it wasn't good. But the more that I've done them, the more comfortable I am. So it's just about getting out of your comfort zone and doing it. And video is more personable. It's good to put faces to names, a picture. Obviously, all social media has your photo on it, but to be able to somewhat engage with that person because you're listening to them talk rather than just reading what they wrote, I feel like it's more personable.
Yeah, they get to see you and recognize you. They might see you at Starbucks if it's a local community. You just become kind of part of their life that way. I think that a lot of people get attached to the radio voice that they listen to when they drive to work. But you're building your brand, you're building who you are, and as you portray who you are, it just makes you connected. And to that point of, I may not feel comfortable, there's plenty of things in life that you don't even realize were super hard for you to do. Like, you learned to walk. Like, you weren't born in this life learning how to walk. Like, just you figured it out, and keep doing it. And the beauty of not having a lot of followers when you try video is that nobody's watching anyway. And so just do it, get it out there, make a fool of yourself. And as you grow and you develop your skills and your ability to talk, more people will come. And then by then, hopefully you figured it out. And if not, like, go sign up for Toastmasters or one of these places where you can learn to speak and get rid of the ums and ahs and dramatic pauses that you have. So,
are you trying to tell me something?
You should sign up for no.
I do have a question, though, real quick before I let you kind of end things. I don't think a lot of people use LinkedIn today. And like me, myself, I don't use LinkedIn. I have one and I'll go on it and check it every once in a while. When I think of LinkedIn, I think of a profile. I don't necessarily think of posts. And so when we're talking about this creating evergreen content, is it more like a blog post? Is it like a Facebook timeline post? Like what do you compare it to?
Yeah, so if you're going to read, like a lot of people are familiar with the website Medium. Medium's a great place where you can just go on there and search for content. It's kind of like going to the library and saying, hey, I want to learn about something today, right? So LinkedIn now has a great search tool on there. So you can basically just go and search for things to do in my city, for example, and your content could show up. You could say top school districts in my city and your stuff will show up. So they have a great play with hashtags. It has a huge SEO reach on it. So the more that you get specific to the audience that you're speaking to and understand what they're searching for, the better off you're going to be. But yeah, there is definitely I'm looking for a job, I'm looking to hire talent side of it. And then there's also now the blog and written side. And don't think of it as a blog like, hey, Dear Diary, today, I talked to Tori and it was epic. And, don't think about it that way. Just more so like I'm a magazine writer and I'm producing content for this audience that wants to digest my content. And that's how you can write it.
Articles. Got it. Okay. Well, do you have any final last words and anything else?
Well, there's a couple things I want to end with here. I would, number one, say don't get caught up in this is going to be my full-time job. Now I'm a vlogger, right? Like you've got to take yourself out and say, I'm still a full-time real estate agent. I still need to sell homes. This is just a piece of the puzzle. And I think so many people get caught up in marketing and saying, how do I keep up with this? I don't have a whole marketing team there for me. That's understandable. There's people out there who can help you, even if it's just 5 hours a month, who you say, look, I need to hire a writer. I'm going to pay them $100. I mean, that sounds super, super low, but there's people out there who will write for you for $100 a month who will create incredible content that you can use. It'll help your business a ton. So don't feel like you've got to take this on yourself. Know that there's help out there. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about next is we've partnered with you guys at Allison James and also Agent Centric. So there's this great product which we've talked about a little bit around here, but basically we've created a private Facebook group which is here to help the real estate agent. It's literally just for real estate agents, and it's how to help them use social media more. So how to create video more, how to use Facebook more, how to figure out how to use these social media platforms that may still be a mystery, how to get your content on LinkedIn, whatever it is. It's basically a private group. It's available to you for a whole year, which is awesome. For what we're going to talk about. And then every single week on Thursdays, we go live, we cover a topic. Sometimes it's LinkedIn, sometimes it's Facebook, sometimes it's just how to get past your fears of getting into video, whatever it may be. And it's all recorded content, so it's all there. I think we've got about 25 episodes so far, but it's a place to get your questions answered. When you're stuck, all that kind of stuff, it's available to you. So I think Tori's going to put a link in the description about how to check out and learn more about that, but it's basically called our Agent Centrics Marketing Group. And it's here for you. It's an incredible tool. So I hope you guys look into that and learn more about what's available.
Yeah, and if you're viewing live, I don't have the link in there yet, but it will be. So check back in about 10 minutes. I'll have it in there for you. But I have gotten, working with you and working with Agent Centrics, I've gotten an exclusive kind of first look at this product. Yeah. And it is a wonderful product. And I think that's a lot of the questions I get when I'm talking to agents is marketing. It's not an easy thing, and the industry has evolved into marketing. So that's kind of what the Agent Centrics is. It's there to kind of help you and help you learn. And it, like I said, it's a great product. So
yeah, and it changes all the time too, right? Like you may have seen some video on YouTube from last year about Facebook, and then you go to do it, and you're like, wait, that button's not there anymore. What do I do? Bring that question to the group, and we'll walk you through it. Which is cool because all the calls are on Zoom, so we can share our screens and check out what you're doing, and you can get your questions answered on there. That's what it's for. It's to help you guys get unstuck and help you with your marketing challenges. So
yeah, and you guys do a great job of making sure all those very specific questions get answered. I'm sure there's a ton of them, but
there's been some fun ones.
but you will get your questions answered, and like I said, it's just a good product. So definitely check it out. It will be in the description of this video.
Yeah. Tori, I appreciate you letting me come here. It's always fun talking about marketing and all this kind of stuff. I could go on for hours, but it's fun. So go do something on LinkedIn. Go write a story.
If we just keep going back and forth, people might get bored with us.
Yep.
So we'll leave it here. It's been about 20 minutes, which is perfect. But we do appreciate you always coming on, and it's always a pleasure working with you and talking to you. And thanks for even teaching me things that I don't know.
Awesome.
So, and I know everyone else enjoys it too. Next week, we will be joined. We actually had this author. His name is Mickey Addison. We had him on a previous broadcast, and he was wonderful. So we're bringing him back, and he's talking about leading leaders. It's empowering, inspiring, and motivating teams. So something we don't really talk about a lot is teams. So if teams are something that you're looking to build and you want to be that leader for your team, next week is going to be a wonderful topic, so you won't want to miss that. But I hope everyone has a great week. And Erik, thanks again for joining us.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.